This is something that is so important about this conference, is that we're talking about process. When they're selling sales qualified leads, the first thing they're going to want to know is, do you know your ideal customer avatar? You have to work on conversion rate optimization. This is a word that you guys want to write down when you're dealing with marketing agencies. Event correlation analytics. What is that? All right, so thank you very much, everybody. I want to tell you guys a lot about Facebook ads today, and I want to talk about the keys to leads in 2020. One of the big things that we need to keep in mind is that everything in our business is marketing. And something I want to make sure you guys remember before the end of the day is the words standards, expectations, systems, and follow the fucking process, okay? This is something that is so important about this conference, is that we're talking about process. As much as marketing matters in business today, it doesn't matter if your business sucks. And the way you make your business great is you have to have standards, expectations, you have to have systems, and then you have to follow the fucking process, okay? And so when we're talking about marketing, at the end of the day, we're trying to communicate with our customers what our company is like, right? Your brand is the gravity that brings everything towards you, right? Your customers and your employees. It attracts local suppliers to want to work with you. It makes employees want to work with you, but you're essentially communicating the brand and the value and the trust that you can expect to have the customers to have in your business, okay? And so you're not just talking about, you're not just saying discounts on roofing, you're not just talking about roofing products, but you're actually trying to talk about what it is that you offer your customer that's unique to other roofing companies. Are ICO shingles unique, right? Or BP, or GAF, or Owens Corning, right? Even F-Wave, as unique as they are. There's still, every roofer has that, right? Has the process of shingling really evolved in the last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years even? Not really. So is that unique? So we have to figure out, how do we make our company actually stand out in an industry where everybody sells the same product and everybody's mandated to install it the exact same way, right? How do we stand out? And so that's why in a lot of what I talk about when it comes to marketing, I'm talking about people, product, process. We're talking about reversing common misconceptions through thought. One second. Who would call? Hello? Bricks. Why are you talking about bricks? I'm on stage right now, and I'm trying to, they're in the living room? They threw them off a roof. You didn't break the chimney apart. You just grabbed it and threw it off the roof, and it fell through the roof? What kind of standards and expectations do you have? Is that the process? Is that the fucking process? No. That's why we have systems. That's why we have processes. That's what should have happened that day when those assholes threw that brick chimney through the through the ceiling. You guys, anybody see that video? Okay, that's what should have happened. But at the end of the day, where are their standards? Where are their expectations? So by the end of this speech, I hope you guys can remember those 4 words: standards, expectations, systems, and follow your fucking process, which means you need to have a process, you need to write it, and you need to document it. Okay? Now, the problem with getting leads in business today is that the marketing industry, you just see the roofer marketing industry, but you don't see the actual agency industry. Like, they have conferences just like this, and there's 2 different kinds of agencies out there. Ones that sell MQLs and the ones that sell SQLs, okay? And does anybody here know the difference? Not one of us, right? The reason that nobody knows the difference is because there's no real vested interest in telling you the difference as a marketing agency. But the difference is that there are agencies who decide that they'd make a decision, their vision statement is that they're going to be an MQL agency. So they're going to provide marketing qualified leads. A marketing qualified lead is nothing other than a contact, right? It's just an opportunity. It's a phone number. And is that really what we're looking for? We think it is. We often go, oh, I can buy 100 leads from this company for $50 a lead. This company will get me 45 telemarketing leads for this much money. But if you go talk to your salespeople, do they really love those leads? Not all the time, right? Then there's agencies that decide that they're gonna learn and they're gonna grow and they're gonna become an SQL agency. And that's where they sell sales qualified leads, okay? And so the difference is that some people wanna just sell, they measure the quality of their leads on how many phone numbers did we get our customer. And then it's up to you, the sales organization, to turn those into sales. And then there's other agencies who set out and decide that they're going to provide you with actual customers. Now, depending on who you hire, one's gonna spend a lot more time and a lot more energy showing you how to actually talk about your brand and how to actually grow your business, and how, as opposed to just trying to supply you with leads. But if you don't know the difference, then how can you hire the right marketing agency, right? You can't, because you don't have the information. Dimitri, is there any way I could get some water from you, buddy? It's funny how instantly you drank as much as Dimitri last night. The minute you get on stage and start talking, it's like all of a sudden your mouth's a desert. But when you're just talking about marketing for the sake of getting leads, you can sell to roofers all day, because the whole industry acts as if leads and roof sales are scarce. Yet every person outside has a roof. Every one of you has a roof. Thank you so much. So when you're talking to an agency, you want to make sure you know what you're asking for. Are you asking for marketing qualified leads or sales qualified leads? Because in the end, what does a customer want? A customer wants to be treated like a real person. They don't want to be treated like a lead, right? Do you really want to talk to your customer and say, hey, when I got the lead that you were looking for a roof, right? So I found out that you had a need and I could possibly solve that need. So when you hire a person who sells sales qualified leads, and there's plenty of them out there, right? There's plenty of agencies that do that. When they're selling sales qualified leads, the first thing they're going to want to know is, do you know your ideal customer avatar? All right? And your ideal customer avatar is essentially, what is your business best serving, or but you're best built to serve, okay? So again, to know who your ideal customer avatar is, you have to have a clear understanding of what are your standards and expectations, right? What is your expectation of yourself? How many more leads do you want this year? Well, you don't know how many more leads you want this year if you don't know how many more customers you want this year. How many more bundles do you want to install? How many more squares do you want to get done, right? So you have to have an idea as to what your standards and expectations for yourself are. And then you have to have a process in which you're going to deliver on that work. You have to map it out. If you need to get this much more done this year, well, how much more is that this month? How much more is that per day? How much do your salespeople have to sell every day? How much do your installers have to be capable of installing every day? What access to labor do you have? So once you know exactly what you're capable of, then you have to write down your process and execute on it. When you have a clear understanding of what your process is for installing roofs, handling customers, handling billing, right, dealing with people on the phone, you have everything from the minute your customer comes in documented all the way through to when you actually finalize an invoice and ask for a Google review. You have to have that all completely written down. And when you have that documented, you're going to know who your ideal customer is, right? Your ideal customer could be anything. It could be 30 to 55-year-old conservatives. It could be people who speak Mandarin Chinese because you speak Chinese, right, or Mandarin, right? It can be any number of things, but you will get to know over time how much more you get to know a lot more about your ideal customer. I know now that my ideal customer has nice landscaping and no fence, because we've studied. We had a virtual assistant go through our CRM and through a couple of my clients' CRMs, because I'd like to cheat sometimes, and see, okay, how many people had nice landscaping in their company cam pictures? How many people also had a fence or no fence? And then what was the per square rate installed? And when we did that study, and we did this across three of my clients' CRMs, we found out that 11 to 12% higher per square rate when it has to be both no fence and a nice landscaping. And on top of that, 200% more likely to get a referral. Now, then we start asking ourselves, why is this? Because again, you want to know your customer. So if you have a nice landscaping and you have no fence, well, then you are kind of living in a community type relationship with your neighbors. You don't have you don't have this barrier that protects you from them, but you also don't have this barrier that protects them from you. Your shit is their shit, and their shit is your shit. So if you're going to bring in some neighbor, or sorry, some roofer, and he's going to come and doesn't clean up, doesn't have a proper site set up, completely destroys your property, right? Well, your shit is their shit. So now you have a bad relationship with your neighbor. We all know those guys who live in that neighborhood where it's like the minute one guy gets a dandelion or a weed, they're like, hey, you're gonna take care of that, right? You're gonna put some Weed X on that. You mow your lawn, Charlie, and that gets all over my lawn. I'm gonna be pissed, right? These are the guys that have the Christmas light competitions every year, right? So in that neighborhood, when those people hire a roofer, they don't just think about what's good for them, they think what's good for their neighbors. And they're willing to pay a little bit extra to not screw over their neighbor, right? To not provide a bad experience for their neighbor in addition to themselves, right? So this is about how well you can get to know your customer, that now I know that if I want to do better, I have to try and become the best roofing company for people with nice landscaping and no fence. So if I'm going to record a marketing video, I'm probably going to try and find an opportunity to record it on a site that has no fence and nice landscaping. So when a customer sees that video, they go, oh, that's like me. I want to be like that. I'm like that customer. I want to buy my product, or I want to buy my roof from them. That's the fundamentals of sales qualified lead selling, not just selling marketing qualified leads, which most of the roofing marketing agencies are in. They're just in the business of selling phone numbers, right? But you don't want phone numbers. I own a roofing company too, guys. Once you kind of have your standards and expectations for your year mapped out, this is a great time to have that mapped out, then you're going to get your process mapped out, and you're going to have systems that you need to use to execute on that plan. This is marketing, CRMs, production management software, getting all these kinds of different vendors and everything like that involved. Okay, you're going to even have your training systems like Roofing School, right? That Dimitri started, where he's actually recording videos on how to install shingles. What is your system for training, right? And then you want to follow the fucking process. Come on, we got to get involved because it is really early and we all look like shit. So we have to start getting our energy up. Okay, so if we got our systems mapped out, then we have to follow the fucking process. Okay, great. Once you have your systems in place, you can start to automate those processes. And that's when the fun really starts to fucking happen, because now you're making money automatically, which who wouldn't want to do that, right? We're going to talk about how you don't want to only rely on Facebook ads. A lot of people come to me and want Facebook to be just to change everything. And I'm a Facebook ad guy, but I'm not a fucking magician. Okay, you have to make a real business. You have to actually take care of your customers. I can't fix all the stupid shit that some people do. Okay, those guys that threw the chimney off the side of the roof, Facebook ads are not going to help them, guys. Okay. So now you don't want to just rely on Facebook ads for traffic. This is people bringing people to your website, right? Bringing people to your Facebook pages, right? But a lot of times the marketing agencies stop there. They say, hey, we're getting lots of traffic to the page. We're getting lots of traffic to the page. And then they take it off themselves. They're even lazier than just pure marketing qualified lead guys, because they'll literally just try and send traffic, impressions, right? But you have to work on conversion rate optimization. This is a word that you guys want to write down when you're dealing with marketing agencies, right? It's not just about getting traffic to your page. You want to know, what are they doing to optimize your conversion rate? What are they doing to actually make it so the people who hit your page convert, right? A good example is Josh Bigger. He had his issue where he was really low number. It was like 93% of the people watching his videos were not subscribers. He knows his ideal customer avatar, okay? He knows that if he mouths them off, they seem to do what he wants them to do. So he told them, don't you fucking subscribe to me, fuck off, fuck all you guys, you're all a bunch of fucking assholes, don't fucking subscribe to me. And what happens? Now 63%, it's dropped to 30%, 5,000 new followers in one video, and he didn't even do anything nice. Okay, so that was conversion rate optimization. He found a way to optimize the conversion rate of his videos to become subscribers. Right? You need to make sure that your agency is focusing on how are they optimizing your conversion rate on your web pages, landing pages, lead pages, whatever you want to call it, your click funnel, right? They got to make sure they're focusing on that. So if that's a word that you put in your toolbox, when you ask them that question, they know you know what you're talking about. Finally, there's something that's really good. If you're trying to run Facebook ads yourself, I made a chart that is really going to help you guys. And even if you're in Facebook Ads Manager and you're hiring another agency, there's one thing that I really want you guys to learn and keep this chart. You guys can, at the end, I got my cell phone number. You can text me. I will send you these slides. And you want this chart that it's at the end, because you can literally look at these 3 metrics inside Facebook now, and it's become easier than it has ever been before to qualify and manage your marketing agency's Facebook ad performance, right? So, right, at the end of the day, we've already talked about knowing our ideal customer, right? The reason that we don't want to go into too big of a deep dive in automation is because 1, I'm talking about that later today. 2, it's huge. This is an absolute monster because people's attention spans are getting shorter, and this monster of a page right here, this is all the different marketing and business automation systems that are out there today. So all those are icons, every single one, right? So there's no fucking way that you yourself as a roofing company owner is ever gonna be able to handle figuring that out by yourself, okay? I do it for a living and I don't even know 90% of those because they aren't relevant to me, right? So it's about knowing what the right tools are and what the right things to ask for are. But here's something I want to talk about just to give you guys an understanding of what automation is. You have to understand the language of triggers, actions, conditions, and searches. That's what every automation is made up of, right? When we do this, then conditions, if this also exists, or if this circumstance is also in place, then we want to take this action. Sometimes we need to search stuff, right? So if we send a purchase order, we want to then search up the customer name, the customer phone number, the customer email. We want to send them a text message and an email. We want to search the date that the scheduled delivery is for the material. Send the customer an email and send them a text letting them know material's on the way. And do this automatically so you don't have to have a production manager doing it for you and stressing them out. There's some really kick-ass shit that is going on in automation nowadays. Later on, I'll be talking about how we had a company that went from 5 to 10 million without 1 additional administrative staff. We actually had another company with similar performance, and this is in 1 year. Another company had similar performance, and their production manager fell over in the office one day with a brain tumor. And 6 months, she was gone. But in a day, they found out. Everything's good today. Tomorrow, one of the most vital people in the business fell over, started twitching on the ground. How would you feel if you're running a 7-figure roofing company and the person who is the bottleneck for every single roof that gets put on, suddenly, with no notice, no understanding of what is even happening, falls over, starts twitching on the ground, and then goes to the hospital and you find out she's gone for 6 months. If you don't have systems and processes, you're done. But because we were working on automation with them 1 month before this happened, we were able to hire a virtual assistant out of Mexico and get her running that business. And in 30 days, she was doing that person's job that had been there for 6 years, and she was doing it for a quarter of the money. And they grew their business 98% in 12 months. You can't do that with good marketing. That doesn't happen because of marketing. That happens because you're running a good business. Then marketing gets easy because you're just talking about how good of a business you have, documenting what you're doing online. All right. I want to talk about the conversion rate optimization. There's 2 tools that you can ask your agency to show you if they're monitoring, okay? So 2 tools. 1, screen recordings, okay? So you just want to say, hey, do you have any screen recordings of what's going on our landing pages? Tools like Crazy Egg, okay? It's another one of those million apps that I showed you before. There's a tool like Crazy Egg. They put it on your website. They can actually watch the behavior of people on your website, right? So they can actually see what's going on, where people are slowing down. They can see what people are clicking on. If people get confused, right, you'll see what their screen looked like when they were on your page. So if they were on an Android phone and the screen was all messed up and they left, you need to know that. If you're having 30% of your traffic come to you from an Android phone and the website looks stupid on an Android phone and they're just bouncing right away, if you just know that you have what's called a bounce rate, people hitting the back button as soon as they hit your page, that doesn't tell you anything. You want to know where they got confused. So screen recordings are great for conversion rate optimization. So just write that down and ask your marketing agency about it. Do you have any screen recordings of what's going on our landing pages? Okay. Then event correlation analytics. That is a giant big dick of a word to put on your face. It's just like, it sounds like a whole lot, and I know, but event correlation analytics. What is that? So when an event happens on your page, and then another event happens. So let's say someone watches a video. A lot of people say, oh, when I go to sargentsroofing.com, I love that video at the top on your roofing page. I have tracked the correlation between people who watch that video and then send a lead versus people who don't watch the video and send a lead. And then I can track them in my CRM, what they did, how many emails we had to send to get them to buy, and then what the per square rate was. And now I'm even figuring out if they got a goddamn fence. But the point is that you want to track event correlation. What is the correlation between this event and my bottom line? So at least on your website, if they're doing event correlation analytics, they can improve the customer experience. Have you ever noticed that you go to some gas stations on the highway in between here and Arkansas, and it's just some weird gas station. There's no real brand name to it. You walk in, they're selling bandanas. They got like random things for truckers. They got like weird tourism stuff, fridge magnets, alcohol, fishing lure, right? It's just one of these weird kind of mom and pop gas stations. The experience is unfamiliar. It doesn't feel comfortable. You don't really know where you're going. You don't know how much stuff is. But then you go to your big brand, regular Texaco kind of place, and everything feels familiar. You know what, the Red Bulls are over there and they're 3 for $7, right? You know exactly where the ice cream is. You know exactly where you get your gift cards. You know where the smokes are, right? You know how to use the little debit machine on the gas pump. All these things matter when you're looking at your website as well. You want to create the kind of retail shopping experience on your website that customers come to expect when they go to Best Buy, or I'm always using Canadian brands because I live there. But whenever they're going to other websites, when they're going to Amazon, they have a certain experience that they're expecting. And so event correlation analytics is something that these major companies have spent a ton of dough on. And so if you're working with an agency, you just want to say, hey, event correlation analytics, do you guys have a tool like that? Can you guys tell me anything about any correlating events? If you do that, you have just set yourself in the top 1% of roofing contractors asking questions of their agencies. They know you're not fucking around, right? And then you just have to have standards and expectations that you have of them, of what you expect of their business and what they're doing for you, because you're hiring them just like you're hiring a production manager, right? So by a show of hands, do you guys have any kind of standards and expectations written down for your production managers? Way low. Come on, really? Okay, do you have written standards and expectations for your salespeople? Okay, so everybody's a lot more focused on sales. That's good. Okay, so if you have those kinds of things written down for the people who are going to sell the leads, and you have those kinds of things written down for the people who are going to execute on the sales, you need to have those kind of things written down for the agencies that you hire, and in many cases pay more than any one of your employees, because our marketing costs a lot, right? So you have to have that written down. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. All right, so the more you improve based on the information that you get from these things, the better your marketing performance is going to be. Your cost per lead will go down, and that's something I always want to to reassure you guys, especially when you're hiring me, is that your cost per lead is going to go down, but that's not what you guys want to focus on at first. You guys want to focus on improving the experience, the shopping experience of working with your business, and improving the likelihood of people to buy from you just based on the experience they have as a lead, okay? So this is the chart that I'm talking about. So this is a whole lot of words. I don't expect you guys to remember it. Don't expect you guys to take notes of it. You guys can just text me and I'll send it to you. Right. So what this is here is the new relevance score that is in Facebook. I'm going to really make this simple. There used to be one score that they would give your ads. And it really was so fucking confusing. We all hated it because it never seemed to mean anything. You would just get this score from Facebook, and it was called the relevance score. And you just looked in Facebook, and you would just see it. It would just be, there's all your ads, and you could just look for relevance score, and your ads would all get a number. It'd be like 7, 2, 1, 5, 6, and it never made any sense. You could have ads that were crushing it and getting you tons of leads for a really good price, and they'd have a relevance score of 2. And then you'd have things that have a relevance score of 9, and it doesn't make sense, right? Because they're not generating any leads. And it drove a lot of us crazy. And so what they did was they split the relevance score into what actually was making up that aggregated number, which was the quality ranking, the engagement rate ranking, and conversion rate ranking. And I'm going to explain those 3 things. And all you need to know is that at the end, when you know what those 3 things are, and you have this chart, you'll be able to go on Facebook and know absolutely nothing other than just how to look at the report, And you're gonna be, again, in the top 1% of roofing contractors when it comes to actually hiring and managing your agency. Because then you're just gonna have yourself a process. And what do? We follow the fucking process. Okay, so this is your process for qualifying and managing your Facebook ad agency. You're gonna go on Facebook and you're gonna look for this, right? You're gonna look for your quality ranking. Quality ranking, all that's really talking about is how well are you performing relevant to other ads in your space. So it's just gonna tell you roughly where you're at relevant to other ads that are similar to yours, okay? Your engagement rate ranking is talking about, is a rate ranking based on how well your ad is actually getting people to engage with your ad. Likes, comments, shares, stuff like that. If you have a really, really radically high engagement rate ranking and a middle of the road quality ranking, you're probably doing something that's gonna get your ad banned, like saying, like this to win a free t-shirt. If you say like this to win a free t-shirt, that's actually against the rules. And so Facebook will eventually shut your ad account down. If your agency's doing stuff like that, they're gonna screw you up. So you can't do stuff like that, right? Then your conversion rate ranking is actually measuring how well people are converting when they click on the thing and then go to your page. And I won't get into how Facebook knows all this, but Facebook knows that if someone sees your ad, clicks on your ad, goes to your landing page or your website, and then sends in a lead, they know that. They know that that's happening. And that's called a conversion rate ranking. Based on those three things, Facebook can tell a hell of a lot about how your ads are performing. This is how they track you in case you're actually kind of trying to game the system, right? This is how they shut ad accounts down, okay? But by knowing this, right, you can go in there and you can use this chart and you're gonna really just be able to now look at your ads and say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I know from this magical little chart given to me by this guy you probably hate now. And this tells me this is what's wrong with our ads, and can you fucking fix it, please? Right? If you do that, then you're gonna have a much better performance of your marketing dollar. And how many people in this room, by a show of hands, feel like they've wasted money on a marketing agency before? Wow, all of you. So you have a written process for your sales manager. You have a written process and you have standards and expectations for your salespeople. You have a written process and standards and expectations for your production managers. You probably want your shinglers to not throw a chimney off in one piece and send it into the ladies' living room. You all feel like you've wasted money on marketing, yet nobody has a system and a process for managing their marketing agency. And this is why I like to speak up on stuff like this. Dimitri asks, why do I like to come here and not ask for anything? I'll give you a little secret. I want to really, really, really fuck up my competition by making you smarter. Okay? If I make you smarter and you make a shitload of money, then you'll be able to come hire me eventually someday. I'm not here to sell you guys anything, but I do want you guys to get better. I want you guys to have better life from your business because my business partner is a roofer. He's a shingler. I saw him struggle. I saw him work his ass off. I saw how much he went through working for another guy. He believed enough in me to quit his job when he had a baby 3 months away and come start a roofing company with me because I liked the idea that his old bosses sold the company for $8 million and I liked that. And so I said, yeah, quit your job and let's go do it. By the way, I'm gonna stay at my 6-figure income job, have fun selling, shingling, ordering material, dealing with the dumps, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna go and spend $50,000 on marketing and hopefully you and I can make enough money to pay me back, right? He had enough faith in me to do that, but he did, and we've done it really well and we've been successful with it, and I wanna help you guys do that. Finally, for those of you that were in my course yesterday, when it comes to marketing, you guys wanna improve it, video is king. Hands down, you or someone in your business, the most important skill today, if you wanna sell roofs, is being comfortable on video. Ask any marketing agency guy, ask Roofing Marketing Pros back there, ask Chris Linder, if their customers would just get in front of a damn camera and improve their ability to communicate with their customers and provide them content, their marketing results will be better, yes? 100%, right? Okay, it is the most important and powerful skill today. But marketing isn't everything. Everything in your business is marketing. That's what I'm gonna be talking about later in my breakout. Everything in your business is marketing. It's all built around having standards, expectations, systems, and follow the fucking. Okay, good. So I want to make sure that you guys remember this because this is the whole point of this whole conference is this is the roofing process conference. So I'm going to say, what are we going to remember? And you guys are going to say standards, expectations, systems, and follow the fucking process. And if you're religious, you can't say that. Autocorrect always changes mine to ducking. I don't know why. It's never ducking. I've never said ducking in my life. I don't talk about ducks, but for some reason, autocorrect really loves to correct it to duck. So if you can't say fucking, say ducking, okay? But what are we gonna remember, guys? It's standards, expectations, systems, and follow the fucking process. Thanks, guys.
90% of you watching our videos without subscription. I don't know what you're waiting for, but you don't want to miss our sick content for roofing industry. Give me one of those, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.